So here we are again on the Haley Ranch this morning. We're fixing to do some cow work down here this morning, but Jeff Haley is with us, Jim's brother, and he has a separate set of country south of here near McLean. But anyway, Jeff, glad to have you this morning, and maybe just tell them a little bit about your end of things and kind of how y'all are structured for the general ranch.
Well, it's good to be with you, Bruce, especially after a nice rain last night. We have drippy, the boots get wet going through the grass this morning. That's always a good day to have that in May in the Texas Panhandle.
Yes, sir.
My son Bill and I run the country down in Gray County, kind of between LaForge and McLean, and on the North Fork of the Red, and we're cow-calf, mother cows there right now. We are a spring calving operation there now. I think, as you know, we were split between fall calvers and spring calvers, and last year we made the decision in the latter part of 2019 to just go strictly to spring calving, and it was kind of my son Bill and John's push to do that, and for multiple reasons, and there's good and bad about the split calving, but with the cost of feed, cost of inputs going up, and fuel, it was just probably the decision was made. Those cows were starting to get a little bit costly to
feed through the winter.
Yeah. And it was opportune for us at the time to do it because we were coming into this dry time, and so we lightened up down there and basically got about half stock going into this drought, which we got them sold off in February and delivered, and really made it nice where we didn't have to go with any spring calvers on that ranch. So we're about maybe 2/3 stock now.
And you're keeping some of those spring calves as yearlings anyway, aren't you? For
yes,
some of the heifers and
stuff. The way our program is working now, Bruce, we keep all of our heifers, unless there's just an obvious cull, if there's a cripple, or if there's something. We keep all the heifers, and we've been breeding them and basically letting the bull tell us who we're keeping. Mm-hmm. We're selecting those
ones that breed
those early breeders, and then we're selling the others. So the way it is now, I'm just running the cows there in Gray County, and the heifers. This is the first year that we're breeding the heifers here in Hemphill County, and it kind of makes it where it's just better suited each ranch, the way the ranches are, and the way we disperse those heifers after breeding. This is a little better way to organize it for us, and kind of simplifies things for the the management of the pastures.
Well, maybe shift gears a little bit. I don't know, your son Bill is not able to be with us this morning, and John, his counterpart up here, is busy straightening out some heifers that are mixed up, so he may not make it up here. I was hoping to hear a little bit from both of them. Could you tell us a little bit about, we've kind of got the old history of the ranch, but where you are now and kind of where you see the future going and what you've got planned for the long-term sustainability of the whole thing, with young kids coming up to take over different roles and responsibilities.
Right. Well, that's a very good question, and that's I think a subject that's difficult in these family businesses, Bruce. Basically, my son Bill and Jim's son John, when they got out of school, they wanted to be involved in the ranch, and so Jim and I welcomed them. My son Bill he was at the ranch right after school, and then he has been married last fall. He and his wife live on the ranch right there where we do, and he's active with me in all phases of the business, as is John with Jim, and the four of us we're in constant communication, work together. We have some kind of newfangled things. We have some, we have some text. We have a text page that we're all on the same together. We have our group text, and Jim and I have been pretty. I think we've given him a loose rein with kind of letting him make decisions. We haven't let him make any decisions that are going to be fatal.
Right.
But it's good. It's good. It's a good learning thing to have to think, and stimulate the brain to think and have ideas. And sometimes failure is a good teacher, and learning those lessons that don't work usually stick. And so Jim and I we've tried to let the boys, give ideas, and we've tried. We're willing to try.
John,
Because some of them are good ideas.
yeah. So tell us a little bit about John's position at the bank. He's not here full-time because he's with
No,
the
John,
Happy State Bank.
right, he has a full-time job with a bank in Canadian, but but he does work part-time, for the ranch, and then completely, involved
Yeah.
in all aspects of the management. And as we all are, I mean, it's just we have meetings. We talk about where we want to go. We try to have at least a quarterly meeting,
Okay.
and we discuss the future, where we want to go, new ideas, things we may want to try. As far as pasture management, procurement. I mean, what we want to buy, how we want to feed, what we want to for like next year, how we're going to run these cattle, where we're going to stock, how we're going to graze, because grazing is important. Jim and I, we've always been cognizant of grazing, and I think we've been pretty, both of us have been, I'd say, decently good, at least from the back of a horse, seeing how much grass we had and trying to manage. These boys have some tools that they brought on they're pretty sophisticated, and they seem to be, catching on and doing it. So we can kind of project. We're able to project.
What are they doing exactly?
They're actually on a program called Maya. There's an Australian program out there that they talk us into subscribing to it, and it records your rainfall. You have your pastures, your moves, and it's taken a while. It was a tedious process for them to get it set up. But at any time we can see where we're stocked, how our inventory of grass is supposed, and then that rainfall gets plugged into it, and so you start seeing your inventory, and you can kind of start seeing what you have on the ranch for your cattle.
Well, it's always a moving target, isn't it?
It is.
Rain is
never same.
Yeah,
It's never the same.
I sometimes get questions, carrying capacity versus stocking rate. And always kind of try to tell them carrying capacity is long-term and stocking rate's what you guys actually have to work with.
Right.
And it varies a lot. And, wintertime when things are not growing as rapidly, it gives you a little more, stability sometimes. But
Right.
like right now it's raining and, everything's good.
It's good right now, but that can change.
Yes. And he was telling me yesterday about some water development y'all are doing to improve the grazing distribution. It's not always just fences and this and that. Sometimes you can get water into places.
Yes.
So.
There again, that's the younger ones have kind of pushed and promoted putting in some pipelines. And
With gravity flow from...
With gravity and some pressure even,
Okay.
but yes, gravity from submersibles to some storage tanks, where we're able to get better distribution, get these cattle out utilizing some of the pastures that they do, but they don't utilize like they should. When it's good and they don't have to get out, Bruce, I mean they'll stand and overgraze a particular part of the pasture. It's close to water, and then not get out over the country they need to. And we're trying to get better utilization of the ranches that way. So we're just starting that on both ranches, getting some pipelines and some better distribution of the grazing.
We talked about fire quite a bit yesterday, but that's only one of the things I guess you guys have to endure. What are some of your plans over the years? How have you dealt with various droughts? That's the problem with the drought. None one of them is alike. you know,
No.
in duration at least. But what do you guys usually do? I mean, you mentioned that you're lightly stocked and you're, you know, you've got those yearlings. It's a flexibility
Yes.
for that. But have you got any other strategies that you?
Well,
that
I
you
think
use?
the biggest strategy we have is thinking out front of it. So, you know, like I said, you know, Jim and I are cognizant of about how much rain we got. The boys actually have it documented.
Right. Yeah.
We have it they have it actually documented, and they can say, well, here's what we've had so far. Here's what the average for the year should be, and here's where we are. And they can actually, you know, they have some objective measure of it. But the biggest thing is to get out in front of it, have a plan. You know, and so we'll actually say X date, if we haven't gotten a certain amount of rain, we're not growing grass, then we'll have some identified steps to take. Either trying to relocate cattle to lease country or somewhere it has rain, or, you know, sell some cattle. So that's been our approach, is just get out in front of it and have a plan.
Yeah. That's
And not, you know, the big thing is you can't wake up one morning to say, oh, I'm out of grass, and have it sneak up on you. Then you're behind the eight
yes,
ball.
yes, you are.
You're behind the eight ball,
Yeah.
and that's not fun. You're there with everybody else selling when everybody else is
right.
selling.
I know y'all have been using AI for quite a while now out here, and you are a commercial operation, and you know AI is very common with registered folks and seed stock producers, but it also has, you know, pretty good use for certain commercial purposes. So when you first got into it, was kind of when and why did y'all decide to start using that?
Okay, the answer to the when is I can't pin it down to the exact year,
Yeah,
but I
right.
think it's probably been about 8 or 9 years, Bruce.
Okay.
Maybe 10 years
Yeah.
ago, and we looked at it for, you know, we raised commercial cattle, and basically we wanted to have the first thing is to get a good, safe live calf from a heifer with very minimal labor.
So you're choosing low birth weight
Choosing
bulls.
low birth weight bulls, so they don't have it's so much easier on the heifers to just have a low birth weight
Right.
calf. They get along better. And the second important thing for us was to have a calf that would market and fit in with the mature cows' calves. So we could, in other words, when we can wean and sell, and we didn't have to market go a different way with those heifers' calves. So what we've been able to do is, for the most part, have a good live calf that will actually fit and sell and bring the same amount of money and sell with the groups of the mature cows' calves. Those calves are weighing just essentially right with the mature cows' calves. You know, maybe 15 or so pounds less, but you know, their front end. Being that AI, we're taking those early calves, so that early calf gets you that way. He's older.
Right.
And then you're not backing up much with the genetics for the
Low birth weight.
low birth weight.
So you're basically picking bulls that are both low birth weight and growth.
Yes.
So they're kind of born
as much
light,
as
and then they
possible.
grow.
Low birth weight's
Right.
the first criteria,
Right.
and then thin as much as possible the growth. And then, you know, it's just caused us to be able to market so much better because we're marketing all the calves the same,
And
instead
you're
of having to
keeping-
go somewhere with a heifer calf and taking a hit.
And of course, you're saving heifer calves off the AI.
Yes.
And so, what are some of the maternal things y'all are looking at on those heifers?
I mean, we look for, you know, maintenance energy. I mean, that's key for us, fertility. So we just want the most efficient, fertile female we can get. It's all about the cow for us,
Yeah. Okay.
and just that's it.
So
And
kind of average or below average on milk.
yes, absolutely. We do not like heavy milkers.
Yeah.
If I wanted a milk cow, I'd go to the dairy and get one, Bruce. But
Well,
to us that's inefficient.
Yeah.
That's an inefficient way to raise a
that's
calf.
good. You know, they're out there. You know,
Yeah.
those that'll grow and do it with growth genetics
Yeah.
versus milk genetics.
And you know, we're seeing this feed stuff just continue to get more expensive and more expensive. So these cows are going to have to do more and more on their own with less. They're just going to have to. So you cannot you're asking them too much if you're going to get a heavy milker, or if you're going to want to have a huge growth
Right.
animal. You know, we've got to have them perform in the feed yard, and they do. But, you know, it's all about just balance. You know, we've got to keep it in balance, the range, because ultimately we're just raising a range animal,
Right.
producing from the grass.
Right.
And that's sustainable. I mean, if you can do that, I think you can sustain. I mean, sustainability is the word, the buzzword these
Right,
days.
right, well.
But I think that's it. You know, you go to any extreme, you go pushing extremes, and you're going to make a mistake.
Right. That's good. Yeah, sustainability is a big target.
Oh, yeah.
To me, what you just described on the plan for the future business model is just as important for sustainability as the natural resources and things like that. So
Yeah,
it all fits
the
to-
business is sustainable. You know, you've got to be making a profit. You've
Right.
got to, or it's not sustainable.
Right.
You know, you've got to figure out how to make the return, and you know, and that's another thing. The younger ones, I mean, everything's analyzed, you know, on a spreadsheet. You know, the decisions are analyzed on a spreadsheet, and we're putting in numbers, and we
Cost effective.
absolutely, yeah.
Good.
Ranching is very hard work. Not everybody wants to get out and break ice in the middle of a snowstorm and take care of the baby calves and do all that. There are very few people that want that job. Not many are stepping up to the plate now. And I appreciate the fact that we're trying to keep the cattle business alive. They say the British didn't give up their empire till they quit eating beef.